Hey there, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to Satan's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be talking about Queen of Dragons by Shauna Ib. Let me begin this by saying, I think you've all heard me once or twice say I don't read romance. And there's a reason for that. Sorry, I feel like there's something in my eye. There is a reason for that why I don't read romance, honestly. And this book reminded me why I don't read romance. It's not my cup of tea. It really isn't. I like high fantasy. I like young adult fiction. I like young adult fantasy. I like contemporary. I like sci-fi. Not all sci-fi though. Sci-fi is kind of like, and fantasy is kind of like you like it, like some stuff. You don't like everything. But I think there are two things I don't read, because they just don't entertain me, really. I don't read nonfiction, really, at all. That's more my husband's thing. And I don't read romance. I can't. And this book reminded me why. Mind you, I bought this book years ago. Like, I can't even remember when. Oh, here's a receipt in here. Yeah, look how faded that is. Can you see what that is? Borders. That's when I bought this book years ago, when Borders were still open. You can barely see right here. I got this book for $4.99. And then a bunch of science magazines. That's probably what my mom did. So, Borders. I got this book at Borders. That's how long this book has been sitting on my shelf. Mind you, I bought it because I think you've all heard me say, I will read anything and anything that has a dragon on it. And Queen of Dragons, I mean, come on. Even the synopsis. It didn't even feel like it was romance at all. I'm just like, oh my god, historical high fantasy, yes please. And I was really excited when I started reading this. And then I started reading it. And then halfway through, I'm like, oh god, this is a romance. I do think that Shauna is a good writer. And I say that because this is apparently book 3 in a series. But I wasn't lost. I think she did a really good job with capturing what was important for the world she had already built in this novel. She captured what it meant to be a dracon. And they are a race of shape-shifting people who can turn into dragons. And then you have Princess Mari here. And she's an alpha dragon. She's an alpha lord, which means she has some other different abilities that other people do not have. She's an alpha. She has to mate with another alpha, or so the rule goes, right? That's the rule, right? And she's just like, yeah, no thank you. I've been married once. I have no desire to be married again. Thank you very much. There's really good world building here. There's really good storytelling, I thought. I really liked the storytelling, and I liked the history. Now, I also thought with this story, it was going to be more character-driven as I was reading it. And I say that because we are introduced to Princess Mari. See, dragon. We are introduced to Princess Mari, right? We're introduced to her brother, who's the new king. And then we're introduced to Lord Kimber and all the other Welsh? Part of me wants to say England. Welsh, English, Earl of Chasen. So, So I'm just going to go with English. Lord Kimber of Chasson. And they all live in secret. It's a completely different structure of Dracon society versus Princess Mari. She came from mountains of Transylvania. Everyone knows Dracon exists. They respect them. They honor them. It's like, we don't live in secrecy. And then you have Kimber, he's like, well, we do. We live in secrecy. She's like, completely different social etiquettes, different politics. She doesn't take anyone's crap either. And that's what I liked about Princess Mari. You know, she was a child bride, and when her husband died, she used her abilities and she snuck into town and she chose her brother to be the next king. And we do get this one scene, and this is another reason why I thought the story was going to be more character driven. We do get this one scene of her brother. He admires his sister. There's no resentment there. He admires his sister. He respects her power. He is somewhat jealous of the amount of power she does have. But she holds herself with this regal air, you know? She holds herself with this attitude that commands respect, you know? Her whole existence commands respect because she is a alpha dracon, right? I think that's really cool. It really does give her a lot of room to grow and develop and be that fierce female protagonist I think everyone wants to read, especially in a romance, I guess. Now, I like how snarky she is. I really do. She's a great character. The story does have good characterization. The story does have good world building. I do like the pacing. But once the romance came into play, halfway through the story, I started to lose interest. Why? Because I wasn't reading the book for the romance. And then it took center stage. And then it became like this distracting thing. You know, like when you're watching TV and something just constantly in your way and you want to see behind it, right? That's what the romance came to me. If you want to read romance, great. Awesome. I probably should have been more perceptive with this book. But again, it was in the bargain bin. Didn't say romance, which is why I bought it. I mean, I guess it kind of looks like that stereotypical romancy cover design. I didn't even think about that, you know. Gosh, what year was this? Let's see if I can finagle the year. This was 2010. 2010. So, it's 2022 now? Holy shit, I was young. Wow. That was a while ago. I wasn't really paying attention, you know? I don't read books for the romance. It's not my cup of tea. So for me, it becomes like this thing, like I said, this thing that's like in the way and you're just like trying to see around it. It's not for me. I think my coworker, she would probably like this book. Maybe it might not be enough romance for her though, but for me it was too much. Again, romance isn't my cup of tea. It's not what I like to read. It's kind of a genre I tend to stay away from for a specific reason. I don't mind romance being in the book. I just don't need it to take center stage and be the focal point of the story. That's what bothers me. Granted, there are really some nice tender moments between the characters, like when Lord Kimber finds out that she was a child bride. He's just overcome with this sense of disgust. And then you get to see not just the respect he has for her. He's like, okay, well, we're not going to do anything you don't want to do, right? And it's like, and I will stop you if you are trying to do something in your sleep. He's like, I'm not going to do anything without your consent. And I like that for a male character. I thought that was really warm and touching and tender. I really do think it opened that door, right, for a lot of tender moments to exist within their romance. And that is something that I did like for the characterization and the romance between them. Because you're not just seeing the respect he has for her, you're seeing the respect that this male character has for women in general. And that's really interesting to me. I really enjoyed it. It does give that romance a tender aspect overall. Now, again, I do think Queen of Dragons is a good book. I liked it overall. I thought it was interesting, but I could have done without that romance focal point. You know, again, it's just not my cup of tea personally. And there's a reason, because I think everything else was really cool and interesting, and then you had the romance, and for me, it was distracting. It was a distracting aspect of the story overall. So, I will give Queen of Dragons 3 out of 5 stars. Trying not to be biased with the romance. There were some really good tender moments between them, but overall, not my cup of tea. I'm gonna see if my mother wants to read this book, and then I don't know. I'll probably loan it to my coworker friend, if she likes it, and then, or maybe just donate it. I don't know. Again, not my cup of tea, unfortunately. But I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5 stars, because other than the romance, I think everything else was really well done. I love the characterization. I did like the world building. I did like the history. I thought everything else was structured very well. It does have good writing. It is well written. I do like the storytelling. I just don't like the romance. Sorry. In any case, once again, 3 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please purchase from your local bookstore or online book retailer. If money's tight, please check out the book from your local library. And on that note, I hope you all continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.